Alright guys, unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen that PlaqueBoyMax dropped his debut album slash mixtape, whatever you want to call it, 5 Forever. And it's probably the most talked about project in hip hop right now, not just in the underground. So anyways, I'm going to go over the reception, both positive and negative, the accomplishments it's already had, and what I think about the album in general. So let's get into it. Anyways, I made a video about this album a little bit before it dropped, and predictions and just anticipation for it. But if you didn't watch it, all you need to know is that this album was really hyped up within PlaqueBoyMax's community, and they kind of went on this really like scorching hot promo run right before the album dropped. Anyways, not gonna lie, for the most part there was a lot of negative stuff on Twitter and Reddit about the album just in terms of quality, but there were a lot of people who liked the album. For example, this one guy said this PlaqueBoyMax tape is surprisingly good. However, if you pay attention to the comment, they said surprisingly good, which is already kind of like a backhanded comment. Thought it would be trash. And if you look through the comments, they're already kind of you listen to anything fire. Now, I could go over his own community 5 stars tweets on Twitter, but I feel like it'd be obvious what it would be, a bunch of glazing. So I'm gonna go over some of the other tweets by these underground accounts. Ofold said PlaqueBoyMax stay out the booth, basically saying it was trash. And this guy Scree, he's part of 5 star, he said, hey look, thought he was gonna agree. Someone else said, Ofold takes, say on God you actually mess with this. Someone else said he got album of the year. Someone else said, I'm with Max, but it sounds like the same song over and over again. He should have dropped a 5-song EP and called it a day. For real, I like 7 though. He got some to work on. So right from the jump, what a lot of people didn't like was, I would say, the genericness or midness of the album. There's nothing in that album that really stood out. There's this one song, I think it's all Paid For. It's cool. Another thing that a lot of people really started hating on him for were his lyrics, for different reasons. Hank Davis and the do. All right. Someone said, it's so corny how y'all are trying to push this hate agenda. I feel like that's just how Twitter is, but there is some truth to everything. And I will say the quality on some of these songs isn't the greatest. The one comment said they all kind of sound like similar quality. The first song, Yacht, felt like a lot of hate on Twitter for this take he did. You just have to listen to the song to get what I'm saying and what these tweets are saying. But I guess you could say it was just weird. I don't think it was trash or anything. But it definitely wasn't it definitely wasn't unwarranted. You know what I mean? Not that it was trash. He was just kind of saying anything on these songs. That makes Sam his fans trying to harass over this. Seems like he took inspiration from EA too. Dude, why are they gassing this up like crazy? And if you want an example of it, see right below. Debut project, no misses by the way. Okay. And yeah, a lot of people were just hating on it. PlaqueBoyMax screaming, on God, if you like that PlaqueBoyMax album, you cannot talk music with me. So here's what I think about the whole album and everything, right? First off, PlaqueBoyMax has not been he's been making vocals he's been doing vocals for a while, but he's clearly not a musician. You know what I mean? The next thing I would say is this album was too long, number one, and he definitely should have spent a little more time on it. I don't think any of these songs have any real replay value, and it's just not good music. It's almost like an accessory to PlaqueBoyMax as a streamer. The thing is, and I feel like we kind of saw this with DDG. When DDG first started making music, everyone was kind of clowning on him for it, you know what I mean? They were and it wasn't anything crazy either. It was very generic, Gunna style music, if that makes sense. But slowly but surely, he became pretty successful. To me, PlaqueBoyMax, similar to DDG, will never actually become a rapper, right? But I think him rapping almost adds a layer to his entertainment personality. He's also way more talented than DDG. He can produce, he can engineer, he has a lot more influence, and I wouldn't say he has the craziest taste, but he definitely has a lot better taste. DDG. But back to where I was going, another point I also wanted to make is an issue I see with PlaqueBoyMax dropping music is because his community, to these streamers community, these streamers can literally do no wrong. Let me give you an example. Let's take Bruce, drop him off, and Protect, for example, right? Protect is not a very good rapper. I don't know. He doesn't have a great voice. He raps on basic beats. Very generic underground rapper, right? But because Bruce goes so hard for him, his entire community, DEO, goes really hard for Bruce. You know what I mean? Or sorry, not Bruce, for Protect. And that's really why he has a fan base. That's the same thing that's going on with PlaqueBoyMax. And I almost feel because there's so much glazing from his own community, he's not really incentivized to make good music, because it's almost the exact same reaction. And sure, there was a lot of hate from all these other places, and he's definitely seeing it. but I don't know if it's enough for like the criticism to like break through, if that makes sense. But anyways, regardless of all that hate, the project immediately started doing really well. Bye Forever is #1 on Apple Music. Keep streaming. We love you at PlaqueBoyMax. He beat Key Glock, Kendrick, and Lil Durk. PlaqueBoyMax's 5 Forever pulled 1.6 million streams on its first day on Spotify, averaging 123K per track. And that's really good. And there were a lot of like comments saying things like bots working overtime or anyone else smell industry plant. This guy came out of nowhere like, no, he's not an industry plant. Mid Forever. It's like an opposing streamer. That's why they said that. But or their fan page at least. But to be honest, these numbers don't really shock me. PlaqueBoyMax is huge. He's probably like the second. He's definitely like top 5 streamers in America, like the world. Like he's big, you know. Anyways, Reddit was a lot harsher, and they definitely didn't show much mercy. For example, the top comment on r/hiphopheads for the album post said, "I thought he was gonna put songs he made with other artists on the album. I don't want to hear this guy rap." This is exactly what I spoke about in my video speaking about like the album prediction. I felt like a lot of people were gonna think that it was gonna be like his in the booth type of thing, but like unreleased stuff that he's gonna put into an album, and some stuff that was made on stream, and maybe like some of his verses and a couple solo songs, and they would be surprised if they heard him rapping. And this is the most upvoted comment on the entire like post, so clearly a lot of people agreed with it. It's also kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. This other guy said, "Asked me too, had to open Genius to see if it's hidden features or something I was missing." Yo, this is the funniest comment I've ever seen on this Reddit. Someone said, "Boy, slow down. Hey Max, stick to streaming." I'm a fan of Max's stream, and he honestly has made some good throwaway songs and verses on them, but this is straight up ass if I'm keeping real. And I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of had to agree. So I'm a fan of PlaqueBoyMax, but this project has like 0 replay value, and I couldn't even get through a lot of these songs. They were just so generic, and I don't know, it almost sounds like there are so many rappers on SoundCloud that like sound like this. If that makes sense. PlaqueBoyMax, he just hasn't put in the hours yet to sound good enough, you know what I mean? But he's all right, but it really doesn't make the cut, you know what I mean? I almost wished he like put a little more effort into this project, because like, look, this debut project sets the tone for his like career in music, if that makes sense, right? And him dropping this mid project, it's mid to me, and I'm into like this underground type music, and a lot of you guys are too. Imagine what it sounds like to these like mainstream hip hop fans. They think this is garbage, you know? They're not gonna like it, you know what I mean? And if you put a little more work into it, it would have been better. And it would have just, you know, first impressions are everything, right? And I don't think he made a good impression on people outside of his own streaming community who he couldn't make a bad impression on anyways. You know what I mean? Like, look, if you guys go to his SoundCloud account, look up Open Carry. I'm not gonna lie, that song is pretty good. It's a cool song. Like, he's rapping, it's like this Drake, you know, that popular sample, like a Drake sample beat. He's just doing his thing. Another thing on a lot of these songs, I just don't like how he like raps on some of these. He low-key needs a better preset. Or maybe just me, but I just don't think he has like the greatest voice or like vocal takes on some of these songs, you know what I mean? Like some of this stuff just shouldn't have been released, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Like not good enough. In my opinion, like he shouldn't, I don't know why he just rushed to drop a project so bad. I guess like that just was his goal, but like a safer and I don't know, just better course of action to me would have been dropping a single that you knew was good, dropping another single, you know, dropping some singles, generating hype there, maybe doing a feature or two on that little single run, and then dropping a project, and just spending more time on music in general. Like, I don't think this is not a good project, you know what I mean? There's this one song called Paid For, which I actually went to his release party. It was fun with Sad Part. I'm gonna post the vlog soon, I promise. It needs to get edited, but like, it was fun, and they were playing the songs, and when the song Paid For came on, it was cool. Like, I could see this song doing well on TikTok, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I don't even want to like break down all these songs just because it's just none of them are like even as like f***ed up as this is to say. They're not like worth breaking down to me. It just doesn't stand out. I do think PlaqueBoyMax still has a ton of potential, and this project is gonna do well. because this community is so large. There's so many kids that are gonna be streaming this album back to back to back, you know what I mean? And it's gonna be like, PlaqueBoyMax is also just like a self-sustaining marketing machine. Like, they're making all these edits of him. They're gonna start using his music and edits. He has like 1 million fan pages. He has like a crazy cult fan base if you think of it from like a rapper perspective. And probably gonna do some shows with these songs. You know, it'll be cool. And also, you know, regardless of whether or not the music is good right now, just him being a streamer and putting out an album is so innovative that itself is gonna like carry his name. It's gonna carry him forward for like a bit. I do think the next song he drops got to be harder. And by the way, I guess when I said single, like Pink Dreads was like a single, right? But that song was kind of catchy. It kind of like caught like a wave at the right time. Feel like, yeah, I just don't know. This album is just bad. I've been honestly kind of like, I really do think PlaqueBoyMax is like a great streamer. But yeah, this album's ass. Like, it is pretty bad. This is not it. There are some cool songs though. Like, I like the song Dave. One of the songs that couldn't get cleared 2016. I like it. Cool. Like, they're cool, but there's nothing on here that I'm really like with. You know what I mean? It's all right, you know. Yeah, that's my review of it. It's just not great. Nothing like, it doesn't impress me, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I was looking to be impressed, but definitely like underwhelming, you know. And I personally just feel like it could have been done better, you know. Like, I don't know, could have done a better job of like making it. Could have just been a better body of work. It's also bloated. I feel like an EP would have been better, but you know. Anyways, let me know what you think. Join the Discord. I'm gonna put the link in the description. But yeah, I'm gonna do like another one of these like one of those like hot takes videos, but I'm gonna do it like with you guys. Almost what I'm thinking. Stay tuned on like my community tab on channel for updates about that. Anyways, peace.